There it is. The power of spontaneity, gentlemen. The power of spontaneity. Thank you so much for joining us for your second All Access Pass. I am your cruise host, Jason. I'm so glad to have you back. And I get to sound like a broken record when I say things like, joined by musical legends, joined by the gods of music. Here again, my friends, make some noise for the OJs. Oh, my goodness. My father, when I was just a teenager, he asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up, and I didn't know. I said, athlete, I don't know, something. And he said, who do you want to be when you grow up? And I'm sorry, gentlemen. I said, I know this because they played your records, your albums all the time. I said, man, I want to be Eddie Levert when I grow up. I was 15 years old. I was 15 years old.
You're too light.
Yeah, I know. You should see me. I was out in the sun all day. I just wanted to be Eddie. I've had your music on in my household my entire life, and I know I'm not alone in that. I think some music is it's the story of our lives in a lot of ways. Music is so iconic, and it means so much. It takes us back. It's one of the few senses we have that takes us back. And this is for any one of you that wants to answer. What does it feel like to know that you are the soundtrack to so many people's lives? Because that's the truth. Eddie, you can take it. Walter, Eric, whoever wants to take it.
Hey, words can't explain it because it's so, I got into this business just for the girls. And then to find out that we became more than just for the girls.
Yeah.
We became part of the family, part of the household, part of your lives, and part of your everyday living. And that to me is so gratifying to know that, and I think it's great. And I wouldn't have it any other way. What do you think, Walter?
Yeah, Walter.
Well, it started off because the girls screamed. And I had no idea how valuable that was.
The currency in that.
Yeah, to inspire me to go from that time to this time, and all of the lessons and getting to know people and interact and in and out of their lives. I had no idea that this would bring me to this point.
Sure.
But I'm real happy about it.
Yeah.
Because it worked, and it not only worked for them, it worked for me too.
That's the beautiful symbiosis of it, right? That's the handoff. Is that if you can appreciate it from your end as an entertainer, as a musician, and you can understand that what it means to them, it starts to mean to you. That's the beautiful handoff. That's the relationship there, right?
That's right.
Please, Eric, go ahead.
Oh, I wasn't going to say much, but I will say this. The OJs is the reason why I even started singing.
Yeah, there we go. Tell it.
They were the
sir.
reason why I even started singing. I saw the OJs when there was 5 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw them do a outdoor concert, and they had on these blue outfits. And they was stepping and singing, and Eddie was sweating and walking. And back in the day, they had processes.
Yeah,
They had the conch.
It was smooth.
And I wanted all of that. And them girls was losing their mind. That right there, that's when I said I want to do what they're doing. Now this part, I would have never scripted in a million years. This part I never even seen coming, because I was trying to get a group to emulate the OJs, and this part right here is another part I couldn't script. I got a group to take the place of the OJs when they fell off, and the OJs never fell off.
You were banking on it. You were banking on it for a minute. You're like, Eddie's sweating awfully hard. I think my time's coming.
Right. It never happened.
Before we jump into all our audience questions, I wanted to ask one more generalized question, because I think it's important. You can come across, people that know the OJs might know you in a lot of different phases. They might know the disco version of what we would consider, or the pop, or the soul, or the R&B. But really, in a lot of ways, you've always been very much a socially conscious group. You've always had a message. Tell us a little bit about how you came to that message in the beginning and what it's meant to you now over, and I don't want to out you because I know you started when you were only 2 years old, but you're closing in real close on 70 years in music. I don't think they heard me. 70 years at this level. How does that message start, and how does it change over the years that you've watched politically, socially, etc.?
Me and Mr. Williams, we wrote a song called "It's Too Strong."
Yeah.
And that was it was like a song that was one that I attribute that that's how me and him became switch leads on a lot of the records, and that's where Gamble and Huff took that ball and ran with it. And so, but that song, "It's Too Strong," was it was like a song. It went, "It's too strong what you're doing to me, baby, but it's so wrong." You know, because it was a love song. Right. And me and him wrote it, and that was the first time we sung as a duet. And but it became the roadmap for our career, and so having a message was that we were always in the church. His father was the choir director, and we were in the choir, and it comes from a spiritual place. We wanted to always feel like we were telling the people what they wanted to hear, or trying to help the people, giving them information about God. You know, I was giving them information, trying to let them know that that was the only way you can get through here, is through religion and through doing what's right. I fell off. I didn't always do what was right. I partied
That was a knowing
hard.
chuckle if I've ever heard one, Walt. He just
hard.
outed you right there.
Right. But in all of the career, we wanted to do songs that had something to say, had something giving information that people could take with them and live by. And we continued that when we got to Philly, and we continue that now in this age. We just want to give you information. We just want to give you stuff that will help you get through this life. That's it.
Please, Walt.
The message has always been love.
Yeah.
Okay. Gamble and Huff, who turned out to be the writers and producers for us, along with their team of writers like Bonnie Sigler, McFadden and Whitehead. These people concentrated on giving a love message, or certainly a message that you could use in your own personal life. Yeah. And I think that's why people gravitated to us. Mm-hmm. Turns out that our biggest song of all times is Love Train. Yeah. and in that teaching, we tried to give a message about money and the love of money, where that'll take you and leave you sometimes.
Yeah, where it drops you off sometimes is more concerning, but yeah.
So that was intended. It was intended to give a great message, therefore it being involved in somewhat of a love song, like Family Reunion. Mm-hmm. So we've been blessed, And we've been able to hang around in this business because of songs that kept us in the business.
Well said. Very well said. Very, very well said.
Thank
You, and you both mentioned Gamble and Huff. Obviously, that was a big turning point for the OJs in terms of the career, in terms of the trajectory, all of a sudden. Not that you weren't destined for it already, but all of a sudden you enter Philly and you get in the PIR and you start with Gamble and Huff. Tell us a little bit about those days, because I guarantee you 18 of these questions from the guests are going to be about the Gamble and Huff days and what that was like.
Wow, now you're talking about an experience that was we would go in the studio, and a lot of those records we would record in one night, but we had rehearsed for maybe 3 months or so, getting those songs. So we knew those songs when we went in the studio. We knew those songs backward and forward. So we knew what we wanted to do on those songs. And so Kenny Gamble was so brilliant that he was able to pull that out of us and put it on tape. And, being up there, it was like a workshop. It was like, everybody had a song. And some of their songs wouldn't make it, and some of them did. And Bonnie Sigler and McFadden and Whitehead and Kenny Gamble, Tom Bell, they always came through with the right songs, and we were able to interpret them our way and to put the OJ's oomph in there.
I like that.
I'll take that. When you talk about the OJ's oomph, Walter, I'll throw this to you, because he gave the noise. You get to give the words. What is the OJ's oomph? What is that?
I think it's the chemistry between Eddie and I,
Yeah.
Gamble and Huff. They are the kind of producers that know what they want, and after working with us, and I would say a short period of time, they knew how to get it out of us.
Yeah.
And
That's magic, too. That's not easy.
No, it wasn't easy
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
Because they wrote songs in the key of life for him. I'm naturally a bass and baritone singer
Yes.
with some falsetto, and I had to learn how to go from falsetto to a natural voice that was choking me.
Yeah.
But Gamble says he liked the passion and pain in my voice
Actual pain.
in those high keys.
Actual pain in your voice at that point. Yeah.
Exactly.
So the chemistry between, and the understanding, that's what the oomph was, the understanding of one another. And I love the fact that you mentioned that they pushed you a little bit. They pushed you into something else, and you found something unique and special in doing that.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Those are the little stories you don't ever get to hear, right? That's the...
Yeah, well, Gamble always felt like if you're at the peak of your range, you get more emotion. You get
Sure.
the feeling, because you're really giving your all to make those notes.
Makes sense.
It's they were high. Jesus Christ, how high.
Tell me.
Reach for it.
That's right.
Alin comes to us from Seattle. Alin Ruth. I'm guessing. Actually, I know Alin, so I know that's Alin. She was with us on Soul Train just the other day. The song Ships Ahoy changed my life. Please tell me how that song came to be. Thank you, love you, love you, love you.
Oh, wow. That song.
Walter's just staring at you. He's going to let you handle this all on your
Yeah,
own.
I want to hear where he's going. Where he's coming from. on this
No,
one.
that was simply, well, it came from the standpoint of knowing where we came from, like the trip from Africa on the boat to America, and trying to convey that in a form of recording. You know what I'm trying to. The message was to let everybody know this is the trip that we took to get here in this country, and so in doing the record, you had to. In trying to interpret the record, we went to, when we did it in person, we went to the slave. We put on raggedy clothes. We had a ship. We had people that were dancing with that to convey the message of Ship Ahoy, and that there was sound effects, the cracking of the whip, the rolling of the waves, and all of that. But in essence, what it was about the coming of to America from Africa. That was the gist of the record.
I agree with that. It was basically Mr. Gamble's dream, and we had to act it out emotionally, vocally, in front of that microphone in the studio to get that in our voices and give it to who was listening.
Yeah.
And he got what he wanted.
I would imagine that is, for black men, digging into that and trying to enter into that frame cannot be, not to go too socially and political here, but that cannot be simple to enter that and to try to deliver that to a mixed crowd, white, black, young, whatever. I don't, if you don't want to answer, please don't, but how challenging was it to enter that mindset, to produce and create the sound that Gamble wanted for that?
It was like you had to go within yourself and imagine how that felt for people coming from Africa on that boat. You had to try to put yourself in that place and try to feel the moaning, the agony, the torture of leaving your family behind and putting that on record in sound, you know what I'm saying, and make it believable.
Right.
It was quite a.
It's deep.
Oh yeah, it was.
Please, Eric.
You know,
Quite emotional.
we right before COVID, we put that song in our show, and we did it a couple of times. We did it more than a couple of times, and we still, and it's a tragedy that today we still get a pushback from that.
Really? Like you feel like a social pushback?
Yeah, social pushback from that, and we acted out. We did the smoke machine and everything,
Sure.
and we delivered the message, and people, they loved it, you know. But some of the, you know, the pens, you know, the people that can write stuff, they don't write what the audience feel. They write what they feel.
Sure. And then blame it on the audience.
And it, well, yeah, pretty much.
Right? That's what they do.
That's
right?
what they do.
That's what critics do. They blame it on the audience. The
And-
audience didn't like it.
And it's a travesty that today, in today's time, that we still are dealing with that.
Amen.
You know what I mean? And
Amen.
that's just not cool.
I mean, you mentioned right off the bat, Walter, you said the OJ social message primarily from the start is love.
Yeah.
It's love.
Yes.
You can't have love without acceptance. You can't have love without equality. You can't achieve certain things without a social understanding of equality and the simplicity of, if we're still judging by skin color, if we're still judging by gender, if we're still judging by sexual preference or whatever it is in the world, then we're not loving. We're judging.
Right.
That has to play heavily into it, Eric, to your point about, you know, getting pushback from people. That's got to be incredibly disappointing in some way as well, when really and truly your message has been love from the start.
Yeah, but they lose sight on that.
Yeah.
You know that you can't do these records without having love, and without having compassion for your human, for your human people,
Brothers and
for
sisters.
everybody in whatever color they are. The message is, look, this was cruel. This was cruel, whether it was done to the Jews or whether it was done to blacks or who it was done, whoever it was done to.
There's an eternity of it if you go back through
Absolutely.
history, and it's
You can-
every color has had it at some point too.
Everybody has been, every form of life has had this mistreatment. And so there has to be a love in it when you're telling that story, because you want people to know and understand you got to be able to forgive and forget and go on with life.
Well said, sir. So now that we're on such a happy note, I'm just kidding. No, see, I'm joking, but that's my only way of switching gears, because it is important, and I appreciate you, all three of you, sharing that, though. That is, I think they can be lost sometimes, and I think it's important to remember why. Yeah. Just why. Why do we do this music? Why do we write this way? Why do we have love as our concept? Why? Just why? And I think we get. It's easy to misplace that, I think, for humanity. This is an actually pretty easy one. I even know the answer to this one. Donna, and I don't know much, so forgive me, Donna. Sacramento, California. Donna says, where did the name the OJs come from?
Recorded in Cincinnati, King Records. After the recording, the jocks we still lived in Canton at the time, but the jocks in Cleveland got the product to play on WJMO or WABQ, both. Eddie O.J. worked for WABQ at
Not
the
Eddie
time.
Levert, Eddie OJ.
Eddie O.J.
Eddie OJ.
That was his real name, or his
Yeah, his stage name.
a stage name or disc jockey name.
Yes, sir.
Anyway, he called us to come to Cleveland to do a sock hop.
When I think sock hop, I think the OJs. That's right
Okay.
there with it. It's right there. It's right there.
So the sock hop, we all know now, is you can't wear your shoes on the gymnasium floor where the dance is being held.
Scuff it up. Yeah.
So it became a sock hop. We did the sock hop. He liked the group. He took us to Detroit to sign with Motown. He didn't like the deal that Mr. Gordy presented. So Mr. Gordy's wife had a label as well. Thelma Gordy, we called her Peaches. She did want to sign the group. She signed the group. We got with the funk band that recorded all of that stuff, Benny Benjamin, the bass player, Eddie Willis, the guitar player. We got with all of them, and we recorded some stuff. Okay. Eddie and I had written a song called How Does It Feel, but they called it Ball and Chain. Yeah. So one day I'm in Cleveland, I'm listening to the radio, and they said, here's a new one by the OJs. I didn't know I was an OJ.
No, you were an OJ.
I found out on the radio that I was an OJ because he said, leaving there, he didn't like mascots. That's what Sid Nathan had given us.
That
in
was the original
Cincinnati.
name. The original name was
The
the
original name
Mascots.
was the Mascots.
She said, no, glad you changed it. Yeah.
So said, just call them OJ's Boys for now, and we'll think of something, and we'll let you
OJ's
know.
Boys, Eddie OJ's Boys.
Yeah.
There it is.
So they called us OJ's.
And that's history.
And
It's amazing to me how some names come to be. Like, we had the Jacksons on the disco cruise last time, and I asked that same question, and Marlon said, the five of us went and performed at a retirement home. And they said, what are you called? And they said, we don't have a name. She goes, well, and a little old white lady. He said, a 3-foot-nothing little old white lady walked up to him. Well, what is your name? Well, we don't have one. Well, what's your names? Well, we're the Jacksons. How many of you are there? 5. Well, you're the Jackson 5. That's how they're, like, Musical history is amazing in that same way, and that applies to you as well. You guys are gods in the music industry, and you were OJ's boys, and then all of a sudden you find out on the radio, you didn't even know you were an OJ.
I didn't.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Eric comes to us from Miami. Oh, I know this is hard to ask, but what is, or do you have a favorite album of your own? Do you have your own favorite album? One of yours, one of the OJ's albums.
Well, I guess I'm going to be the first guy to speak all night long.
They all just look at you.
Yeah, they
just
all
look at Eddie.
My favorite is Backstabbers. I thought
Mine
that
too.
I thought that was a classic album. I thought that every song on there was a hit. And when we did Backstabber, the song, I was with Gamble when they cut the rhythm track, and from the time that they cut the rhythm track with Earl Young, who's on here now, he played the drums on that.
And the Tramps.
Yeah, with Earl and Ronnie Baker and the
Just a
whole
who's
crew
who,
there.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Leon Huff and all. When they cut the rhythm track, just the rhythm track, it sounded like a hit record. Just the rhythm track, no vocals, no nothing. But then when we put the background vocals on it, it became even bigger.
Yeah.
And then after we did the lead vocal, it became even bigger. And then after they put the strings and horns and all that, it got even bigger. Then we were somewhere in Colorado, and it came on the radio, and I heard the dun 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 dun. And I'm talking about, where did I hear that before?
That sounds familiar.
And when it started, doom 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 doom, it was like, Jesus Christ, what a sound, what a great record. And just the sound of that record, just the sound of that album.
Backstabber. Mine
All of
too.
that, 992 arguments, all of that.
Oh, that's a good
all
album.
of that. That was a great, great, great album.
And that's why we wait on you to speak first, because you remember all of that detailed stuff. My best album
about you, Ozzy?
was So Full of Love. It had all of the big love songs on it. And
That's the
it's
message.
still hard to match today.
That's the message. Eric, you get to go last because you had a different perspective on it.
I
yeah.
got a different perspective.
Yeah, you got a
right?
different perspective on it.
Totally different.
Yeah.
Totally different because I grew up an OJ's fan.
Yes.
So I got albums from coming through the very first album the OJ's did all the way to now. To right now.
There it is.
Yep.
Look at
That's my first album right there. I got
That's
all of the OJ's albums. So I'm a
Do you
huge
have the last word? I just want to check.
Come on, man. You know I got the last word. Come on, man. But I really enjoy live in London. That's one of the albums that I really enjoy. I enjoy live in London. I can listen to that every day, all day, from top to bottom, because that was just classic OJ's in the moment. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Without rehearsing a song to cut in the studio.
Yeah.
You know, that's just them. And then when I got the chance to perform with them, that was them then.
Yeah.
I mean, so much so that I used to get caught watching the show.
In the show,
And I would
watching
be,
the show.
I'd be on stage, and I'll just be watching Eddie and Walt, and I wouldn't be singing. I wouldn't be doing nothing. And then Eddie got one of the sharpest, heaviest elbows in life. And he would come over and he would give me this elbow and say, "Boy, sing." But I'm watching them. I'm like, they still can do this. And ladies is throwing panties and drawers.
It's changed. It's
changed.
changed. It's changed.
Yeah.
You've been in the business 70 years. They're not the same. Let's be honest. They're not the same. We're not the same. That's what happens. It's all right. We all know.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite albums.
I should have asked you up front, and I apologize. How? Not about draws. Tell us about getting the call. How did you get the call to come up?
I
and sing
actually
with
got
Eddie
the
and Walt?
call from Gerald Levert.
You did, from Gerald.
Yes,
Okay.
Yeah, that's where I got the call from.
Oh, God bless. How many years ago?
Oh, man, 30.
30. Yeah.
30 years,
Yeah.
95.
95.
And Gerald called me and said, Dad and them was looking for another singer. And you need to, I was in Detroit at the time. I was living in Detroit, still trying to pursue. And he said, you need to get back here.
Still hoping the OJs would fall off.
I'm
With that.
still
Yeah,
hoping. I'm
Still hoping they're about to go down.
I'm still hoping, man. I'm
Come
up
on
there
now.
cutting records and just hoping that I get my shot. You know, I mean, when the Jacksons started, you know, then New Edition came in, and that's what I thought was going to happen. It never
That
happened.
was you. Yeah, you were playing.
But Gerald Levert gave me the call, and the thing that was so surreal is that I knew every single OJ record
Already.
and I knew what the job entails because I studied them.
Yeah.
I had a guy in my group where I made him be the Sammy Strain. You know what I mean? So when I had to come and be the Sammy Strain, I already knew how to do the Sammy Strain because I taught it. You know what I mean? I taught my guy how to do that, and so I knew what the job entailed. You know, so
30 years, man. So Eddie and Walt, I'll ask you guys, when he comes in for the first audition, the first look, what's your thoughts? How did you know he was it?
He was a very, very nice young man.
Hey.
He didn't smoke, he didn't drink, he didn't do drugs, and he was a hard worker. And that fit right into Charlie Atkins' plan.
Yeah.
Charlie was a slave driver. He beat me up all the time. Everything was, you guys look pretty good, but
But. Yeah.
Especially Walter.
especially Walter. And we danced. We didn't use mic stands. We used little plastic cups that they give you in the hotel.
Yes.
And we set them on the floor, and that was our guideline. He did things at angles, 30 degree, 60 degree, straight. He didn't like for you to go straight back from the mic and come back up. He wanted you to do it at angles and dancing. I kicked that cup so many times. And he never backed down at all.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
His favorite saying was, you know, guys, you're doing it great, but Walter, especially Walter.
I learned to love that old man.
Come on, Mo.
I did. I learned to love him. And his wife made me sing at his service, the hardest thing I ever done in my life. His song to her was an old Beatles tune called My Love Does It Good.
Yeah.
And that's what she wanted to hear, and that's what I sang. But yeah, he beat me up all the time.
But clearly you felt the love in it, or you wouldn't have performed at his service. Or you did it in
He
spite.
didn't feel the love.
Yeah.
He didn't,
Or it was just spite. Yeah. You put some extra lyrics in that one, didn't you? On that one, yeah.
he wanted to beat that old man up. That's what he wanted.
No, I didn't. I learned to love him because he got me in shape.
Eddie, from your point of view, how did you know that this gentleman in the middle was what you guys were looking for?
Well, the things that Walt said about it, he was a very nice person, and he was going to be an asset to the group because he had principles, and he was somebody that could carry the name and be an example for the group, and you know, and plus he had talent, and so
you know,
itty
he's
bitty
all right.
bit.
He's all right.
Yeah,
He's okay.
yeah. He was.
Don't give him
talented.
too much. Keep him on edge. Keep him on
well,
edge. Yeah.
well, he gonna want more money if I
Yeah, exactly.
if I pump him up.
Hey, don't
you
do
know.
that.
So he was cool.
Yeah. 30 years. 31 is not promised. 30 is where you made it.
right,
31 is
right,
still up in the
right,
air.
right.
But I used to be over Eddie's house all the time too, because they had real cereal, and they had real milk. You know what I mean? And so I would go over there when Eddie and them would be out of town, and I would go over there and I would eat breakfast, and because they always had food. They always had real food. You know what I mean?
He would be staying in my casita, in my back house.
Yeah, they had a cottage. They had a house in the back of a house. 2 bedrooms, bathroom, and living room, and this big TVs and swimming pool. And I was in heaven. So when they go on tour, I would come over there.
Move in.
I would come over there, and Eddie's. They had, we had puffer wheat. We had bags, the bag
cereal.
Yeah,
Bag of cereal.
bag
Oh
of
yeah,
cereal.
I know. I was there.
They had.
I was there too.
They had Kellogg's.
Yeah, real cereal. Yeah.
You would be back there with Gerald
I
and
would
Sean
show
and all that.
every day.
Maybe
every
you
day.
wasn't such a nice dude. You're telling on yourself.
Yeah, I had to tell it now. I gotta tell it because
Just think, you were all in the room when Eric lost his job. Oh, wasn't that a good run? Wasn't it a good run?
it was a good run. Yeah, 30 years will always be a good run.
30 years, yeah, and that's it. You lost it on the disco cruise. You made it so close, so close. Andrew joins us from Tampa. What is your favorite song to sing? What's your favorite? And Eric, I want to end with you because I know you probably have done some homework on this one. Eddie, Walter, either way, what's your favorite song of yours to perform? What's your favorite song to
Love
perform?
Train.
Love Train. You like Love Train.
It'll always be because it says it all.
It does.
Brings everybody
It
together,
does.
and it talks about love and loving one another. That's it.
I love it.
I can't. I'm with him.
Love Train.
Yeah, it's the only song that we do that we can do. We can sing this song at least 3 times in a row, back to back,
Yeah.
and people will be enjoying it all the way till the next day.
Absolutely.
They will sing it with us for forever. Hey, what you got going on over there, man?
He was looking for Eric's replacement. They heard the spots open. People are calling already.
They're calling already.
They heard you're out.
They heard
calling
the
They
spot
heard
was
you're
open.
out.
It might be somebody out there.
Yeah, right. It's probably the person in the back row. Like, heard y'all are looking for somebody.
It was the police.
The next most likely husband. What about you, sir? I know you know the whole catalog and you've been through
Listen,
it.
man.
What's your favorite one?
That just let me make love to you.
Ooh.
It never do no wrong. Like never ever. The minute he say just, game over.
The fact, certain music, right? And everyone in here has a song that does that. And you probably have multiple songs, but you have at least one song that does to your face exactly what it just did to yours. When you said the name of that, you said,
Oh yeah, it does.
it's that face. It's that.
It's every
It's,
time.
ooh.
Every time. Can't wait for it to happen. Like I mean, if nothing else is happening in the show, I wait. I say, yeah, well, wait till y'all hear him do this. As soon as he say, just, game over.
All right, Jen, we got time for just a couple more here. Sandy comes to us from Missouri. Do you have, and sorry, Eric, you're out of this. Gentlemen, do you have a most memorable performance, unless it is in the last 30 years? Do you have a most memorable performance that you can, they're all going to look at you, Eddie, because you got the memory. We already heard that, so.
Yeah, well,
You don't have to have one. I'm just curious. If anyone.
There's been quite a few, man.
I can imagine.
I mean,
How about a country? Is there places you've traveled that you didn't know you'd get the reception you did? Like you go into a different country or a city you weren't expecting, all of a sudden, whoom.
well, let me tell you, we went to Jamaica one time, and they were having the soccer game,
Oh, it's big.
Oh, Lord.
and soccer was really big. So, we were doing our show, and we were on the show with the Manhattans,
Manhattans.
right? And the Manhattans came on, and they were doing all of these ballads, and the crowd was just loving it. You know what I'm saying? They were good, absolutely. But we had, you know, the Backstabbers, Love Train, Living for the Weekend, and you know, and Darling, Darling Baby, and you know, I just knew we were gonna kill these people. But they were sitting on their hands, and so me, being the guy that I am, I said, don't be mad at me because y'all lost a soccer game. And that's exactly what they did. Oh.
Yes, they did.
And
you
that's the
talking
story
about-
of the-
You talking about losing a crowd?
Yeah. I bet that check bounced too. No, it should be good. It should be good.
Hey.
Do you have one, Walt? Do you have a most memorable?
Washington, D.C.,
Yeah.
the Monument.
Yeah.
Beach Boys, LaToya Jackson, Ringo Starr, Julio Iglesias,
Yes.
and the OJs.
Yeah.
Over 500,000 people. I'll never forget that.
That's a lot of humanity. That's a lot of humanity to look out at. People will say this all the time, and same question for you. As a host, as someone that speaks in front of audiences, it is easier for me to speak in front of large crowds than small crowds. As a performer, is it easier to perform in front of a big group or a small, more intimate group?
More difficult with a small crowd.
Yeah.
Because the attention is.
It's yes.
Right
And I can
on
see all your eyeballs when there's 10 of you here. Yeah. Okay, we got a couple more here, like I said. Actually, this one is fantastic right here, because I agree with this. Maria comes to us from San Fran. Your dance moves are so precise and wonderful to watch. Are you still practicing, or does it all just come naturally?
Well,
I love you and all of your songs.
Like Walter was saying about Charlie Atkins, we would rehearse so much that the feet would automatically start moving when you heard the music.
Just right into the steps of
and
it.
he would tell us repetition is always the best lesson you can have. And so now when we hear the music, the feet automatically do what they're supposed to do, because we've done it so long and so much that, you know, right now I sit on the stool a lot, so my feet want to do it.
Your brain's telling them to do it. Yeah.
They want to do it, but you know, but it's the repetition. I still remember 'em. I still, you know the beat, and the music dictates what we do as far as the moves.
I remember those Soul Train shows.
Yeah.
You guys were, like Eric said, you were sweating. Woo! You were working on those Soul Train shows.
Oh yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Walt, please.
Oh, I mean, the way he rehearsed us, maybe after about 4 or 5 years with him, he started giving us Sundays off. But we rehearsed 6 days a week, and we would run the show at least 4 times a day.
Wow.
The entire show.
That's a lot. That's heavy.
That's who he was.
That's heavy. Woo. Eric, how hard was it to get all the moves, or were you already there? You already had everything set. You were good to go.
No.
You walked in the door already
No,
knowing
no,
them.
no, no. I didn't. I mean, listen. Sometimes when we off for 2-3 months, I go back over the tapes because I still want to be on point. And Charlie Atkins had always taught me that I'm the measuring stick for these two guys. So I have to always be right. So sometimes I get my tapes out because I got tapes of the guys, and I'll just watch the tape, and sometimes I get up and I do the choreography because I find out that sometimes little things I forgot. after being off for 3 or 4
Sure,
months.
sure.
And so I have to know those little things
The
because
nuance.
Walter will come to me and say, "What's that step again?"
Testing you.
Oh well, I mean because
Look at
sometimes,
Walter's
sometimes
nodding.
he
Yep.
may because sometimes he may forget too.
Sure.
You know, and sometimes Eddie. Now when you see Eddie now, and you'll see his legs moving sometimes, only because he knows what I should be doing. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes if a step is deep, be da boom be da bop, you'll see his feet move because it automatically happens. And if I miss it, he'll know I missed it because he knows where my feet's supposed to be. So I have to always be on point.
No
So
pressure.
No
No
pressure.
pressure. Yeah, no
There's
pressure.
always pressure with these two. I just want to be right. I just want to be there for them. I just want to make sure that they can depend on me.
Amen. Well said. Very well said. And if not, Eddie will just elbow you, so we're fine.
He will.
Swift one to the shoulder.
He will.
I think this is wonderful right here, and it is from Q from Philly. No question, just a comment. Thank you so much for sharing your gift with us. You have truly gotten me through some of the hardest times of my life with your music. May God continue to keep you.
A big thank you for that one.
When you, and this kind of ties us back around, and it is an easy send-off for the end of the interview. It ties us back around to the very beginning. That has to resonate with you, and if it doesn't, I certainly hope it does, because I know you've been at the tip of the spear for a few decades now. But it still has to mean something when you walk on stage and an audience goes crazy. It still has to mean something. I can imagine. I don't mean to press that upon you. If I can imagine, it would still mean something to have a paying guest take their time to write a comment like that to you guys. That still has to feel good, especially with love as your primary message. What is your relationship with the fans at this point, and what does it mean to you?
There's
There's your
no
relationship.
me without you. There's no OJs without you. Know that nothing goes on without you. That's it.
That's profound. And I want to add something to
Please.
what that gentleman said.
Please.
Okay. I've been with these guys for 30 years, and this is the truth. I've been with these guys for 30 years, and I have not once ever heard them, neither one of them, not only take for granted the fans, but I have never heard them say anything arrogant like, I don't want to take pictures. I don't want to sign autographs. I don't want to do this. Walter once told me he said, when they stop asking, then it's time to go home. So, because I always wondered, how did they always get up to do that? I've never seen Eddie shun a person. I've never seen Walter shun a person. And that works for me because those two are like big brother and father figures to me. So I want to know how to be a professional. And this is the best teachers right here.
Amen.
Because I've never heard them shun an audience. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
These two guys right here, the best teachers I've ever had in my life.
Well said,
period.
sir.
I
Well
mean,
said.
so y'all should clap for that because I know entertainers, and I've witnessed entertainers shun people. I've witnessed entertainers not
Yes.
care about
Yes.
the fans or any of that.
You forget who brought you, right?
Yeah, I've seen them do it, and these guys, they don't do that.
Well said. Very well said. Eddie beautifully said. Walter, take us home. What is the relationship between the OJs and the fans, sir?
Well, I believe it goes like this. Without them, our fans, we would be nobodies. They made us who we are.
Yes, sir.
So they get as much credit as we do for having the insight, the patience, and the foresight to see that we could become who we are. And they put that time and energy and effort into us by coming to our concerts and their money And that I respect.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Fair enough.
I give the big glory to God because he takes care of all of us. But next in line are them. And I appreciate it. Thank you.
You know, that's incredibly well said, because we have, you'll hear me say this as we get near the end of the cruise, all the cruises that we do, all the charters that Star Vista Live does, the most important thing that any human can give you is their time. It's their time. It's the only finite resource we truly possess is time. Whether it's coming to an interview, whether it's going to your concerts over the decades, whether it's buying your album and sitting and listening to it, tuning into the radio when you're on, following you in any way, shape, or form, the most precious thing that anybody can give anyone else is their time. And for almost 70 years, these fans have given you a lot of time, and I gotta say, you absolutely deserve it, and have always deserved it, and will continue to deserve it for what you've done and who you are. So I want to say thank you very much. I know I speak on behalf of this crowd. I know you took some time out. I know some of you got on board today, and you got some rehearsals, and you got some things to get to, and I know you'd rather be there at some point.
Are you crying?
Maybe.
Are you crying?
Did I not start by saying I want to be Eddie Levert? What part of this are you not grasping, Eric? You've been with him for 30 years. I'm getting like 5 minutes here, bro. Come on, let me live a minute. I know you guys got stuff to get to.
Eric is cold.
I know, right? Look at him.
Are you crying?
Look at him. Get rid of him. He's not nice. He's not nice at all. What's this niceness you're talking about, Walter? True colors revealed right here. But I know you guys got a place to be. I know you got to get down to do some rehearsal and some sound check. So I want to say thank you so much. I speak on behalf of the fans and all the disco crews when I say we love you, we appreciate you, and thank you for being with us. Thank you, everybody. One more time, give it up for the OJs!